5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cleaners Have Spoken. My name is Joel. Across from me through Zoom, as always, is my brother Michael. We just watched some episode of Survivor where one person that was voted out did not make the jury and the other person did. We're watching that episode of Survivor, and we just watched it. We're here to talk about it. Michael.
Episode several.
After episode several of Survivor, what'd you think? 2 tribals tonight.
2 tribals tonight. The best episode of the season to date. 2 interesting votes. My biggest question is, what's up, Joel?
It's 8:56 on Wednesday.
Okay, 8:56 on Wednesday. Good deal.
That was crazy. Like, what a challenge.
I
like,
had never heard that in my life.
No, me neither. And I don't even know if that's what Tim was asking either. Like, Tim just kind of maybe like rolled with it. But yeah, I guess that's a thing. So, cool.
I would have responded in the exact same way Jeff did. Yeah. How's it going, Tim? Thanks for the shout out.
And then he just stopped talking. I was like, oh, like, because he could have clarified. He could have been like, no, dude, I'm asking you for the time. But he was just like, all right.
Surely, like, they checked that was like a common thing in the culture before they put that in the episode or left it in there.
Maybe I'm gonna have to start using that. Like, what's up? But like, I feel like that wouldn't work for me. I feel like people would just be thinking I was just asking what's up. You know.
Q had some real TV gold tonight, honestly.
Yo, like Q was the star of the show.
The alphabet game that they couldn't, that they wouldn't play the way he wanted them to play it.
Yes.
And then, you know, the dictating the vote to Tiff and Kenzie. I mean, he was all over the place, man. He was chastising Charlie on his bad gameplay, and yeah, he was everywhere.
There's so much to get into tonight. Let's start there with Charlie voting for Venus and then telling Venus that he voted for her when he could have just, not done that. Which I thought that was a pretty big gaffe. I was kind of with Q. I don't know if I would have told him that he was an idiot and like he needs to pull himself together, but I agree with Q. Like, I think it would have been sick for her to think that Soda voted for her.
Yeah, I think it would have been fine for him not to say anything. I don't really know, like, ultimately, like, that was really more just like a confirmation for Venus than like a pot stirring situation. Like, when she thought Soda voted for her, she's like, I know Soda has it out for me anyways. Yes. So like, it really revealed like their bad relationship. And at that point, once that's been revealed that there's like no trust there, like, I don't know, maybe Charlie earned some points by coming clean, and people are like, Charlie's actually not a sketchy guy. Like, he even told Venus that when he didn't have to. Charlie didn't seem too upset at himself for telling Venus that, even after Q pointed it out. Of course, he was like, to Q, he's like, oh yeah, man, I shouldn't have done that. That was my bad.
Yeah,
but like,
it's so funny that
he thought he did anything wrong.
I love that he just like went along with it. He was just like, yeah, like, oh man, I'm bad at Survivor. Like, yeah, you're right. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, because Q thinks he's like Banu. Banu's on his tribe, and he's like, well, okay, like, there are people that don't know how to play Survivor, but Charlie's not one of them. Like, he's not an idiot. He does things that you might not do and I might not do, but that doesn't mean he's an idiot or like he doesn't know how to play the game.
Right.
So just, wow. I think we need to we need to talk about Q like pretty thoroughly right now. Like, cause from that moment where he chastised Charlie, then we see him like playing the alphabet game and then like legitimately getting mad at people for not knowing how to play it. Also with Charlie, and Charlie intentionally does it wrong and looks at the camera. That was awesome. That was so cool. I love that so much. Like,
yeah.
Baltimore.
Charlie had a few moments tonight where he would like look at the camera like, are you seeing that I'm seeing this, or like whatever. Like we did that. Then when he was like laying in the shelter and like Venus and Maria were talking, and Venus is talking about whatever, and Maria's like, and Charlie's like looking up at the camera, looking at them, like acting like he's asleep.
Yeah.
Charlie had some good moments like with the audience tonight, the way they edited it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just wow. Like the fact that Venus was having that open of a conversation with Maria, with Charlie right there, and asking Maria, did Charlie catch you up on things, acting like he couldn't hear him when he was literally right there. You know, that was something else as well.
Yeah.
But
Q, man.
Like, so he does the alphabet game, and then he goes back and he does the same thing that we've seen him already do, which is flip-flop, because he's an emotional player. He's a strategic player, but his strategy seems to waver pretty fast. Like he wants to make moves and he understands how the game is played, but he can't. When he makes up his mind, it doesn't feel like he's made up his mind. And that's kind of coming back to bite him for the first time that we're seeing, especially when Kenzie and Tiff are talking about it, like in such an open way amongst each other, where it's like, this is like, Q thinks he's everything right now and he needs to like lock it down. And he literally told Tim, he told the testimonial, he said, you know, Tim, what game are you trying to play? Are you trying to play Sega's game, or are you trying to play Q's game? And it's like, that's his mindset. You know, it's like, it's my game. If you're not going to play my game, then I don't want to work with you. Which, to have that like daring and bold of a mindset, I think will get him kicked off of the season. But it is amazing television to watch. Yeah.
I mean, I think like the other players might not want to vote Q off because he's kind of crazy, like isn't giving, you know, steady, isn't giving reliable, those types of vibes. Like I think he thinks that he is.
Yeah.
He's trying to give off loyal vibes, like you mess with us, like you're going to get voted out. This is the real thing, blah, blah, blah. But like for Kenzie and Tiffany, they have to vote Q out. Like
at some point.
Because like if it's the three of them at the end, to everyone else, like it looks like they just voted whoever Q wanted to vote out the whole time, and they got to the end. And to Q, it looks like I dictated every vote because he probably did. Right. So they have to vote Q out. It seems like they know that. I was like, the way that they were showing it tonight, I was like, it doesn't look like they're going to vote him out tonight, but they're setting it up for them voting him out later. Just because the way that they were talking like about him after their conversation with him was just like, we can't have that. Like,
right.
You need to be aligned with people who you're going to get to the end of the game and you're going to have like the ability to say like, either we voted every decision together, or like I was the one pulling the strings. It's better to say I was the one pulling the strings. And so I would get Q out ASAP, probably next week, if you can.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't, because I feel like somebody will at some point. Like I feel like someone's going to gun for Q, and you know, someone that he has wronged. And I'm curious how next week goes, because the first guy that was voted out tonight was Tim. Tim was a member of the Six, the +1 alliance, and he was one of the founding 3 people of that alliance. And I can't imagine that Maria is going to be like cool with that, right? Mm-hmm. Like I don't know what his mind was. Like, I think they totally should have got rid of Ben. I agree with Tiffany. I don't know why they didn't get rid of Ben. Like, keep Tim, make him think that you're 6 strong, and then vote against him. Like, Tim has the same power in this game as Ben, but Ben's not aligned with you in any way. you know?
I mean, I think the reason they voted Tim is because Tim said vote Hunter, you know?
Yeah.
Which, like, I think to Q, that was like, oh, R6 isn't legit to you. Like, if
Right.
R6 was legit to you, you'd be fine losing Ben.
Right.
But you're going to vote out a guy in R6. Or, like, because you can vote Kenzie. So it was either vote someone in the 6 or vote Ben. And
Right.
so in that moment, when he's not even, like, kowtowing to Q in that moment. Like, Tim should have been like, yeah, sure, like, I'll vote Ben out. And then, like, tried to find a workaround.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, he, like, straight up told Q to his face, like, I don't want to do that. I want to vote Hunter out. And to
Yeah.
Q, that's like a cardinal sin. Like,
Right.
you don't say you want to vote out anyone in your alliance, or you're not trustworthy, you're not reliable, you're playing both sides. He's like, this is the way we're doing this. If there's 6 of us, we're going to the end. Because I said that's what we're going to do when we were at the journey. I said that. And so everyone agreed to it. So that's the law from now on. If you break it, you're gone.
Yeah, I think in Q's mind, it was kind of like, don't bite the hand that feeds you. You know? Like, Ben's off on his own, but, like, he was cool with Tim, and Tim keeps doing this shady stuff. You know? But at the end of the day, like, you know Tim. You don't know Ben at all. And then what really cracked me up was when he, like, had that conversation with Ben, and then he immediately ran and was like, Ben, we have to get Ben. Ben, I feel like is like, he's got like a secret weapon or something like that. Like he's probably got some like really like weird strategy going on. And like Tiffany said the same thing. And I'm like, are you on the island with the Ben that we're seeing right now?
Yeah.
You know, the one that is like wearing his heart on his sleeve and just like being nice to everybody and like tearing up at Tribal because he's, you know, he loves people and he's had a human connection here.
Yeah.
Like, where are you right now? Like,
Yeah.
And I feel like if Tim got to the end, I don't think he would get votes. Like, I think whoever he's there with, if it's Siga or if it's you, I think that either way, he wouldn't win. Ben is an extremely likable person that no one really has any motive to get out at this point.
Right. Yeah. Ben is like in the sweet spot of like not a threatening player, but people like him.
Yes.
That's hard to do in Survivor. Like,
Yes.
because a lot of times, like, oh, people like them too much. Like, that's threatening that people like them too much. But Ben is, like, exercising zero energy on being strategic.
Right.
Like, he went to Q in this episode, was like, I know we haven't really talked, but, like, I just don't want to go home, so can that not happen? Like, that's what he said. And then he was like, do you want to vote Tim? And he's like, I don't really want to vote Tim. It's like, okay. So I think this is probably, you know, I said like Q wanted to vote Tim out because Tim went against the 6. I think that's like 70% of the reason. But I think the thing that probably ended it up being Tim is that Kenzie probably said, I'd much rather vote Tim than Ben.
Yeah, but I'm
Like,
curious
I
why we
don't-
didn't see that.
Yeah.
Like Kenzie obviously has a connection with him and talked strategy with Ben. And Ben only
Yeah.
talked with Q and Kenzie.
I think the reason we didn't see it is because they were trying to keep drama up about who's going to get voted out. Like, I think
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
probably why we didn't see it. I wouldn't be surprised if there was like a secret scene released where like Kenzie's like, I don't want to vote Ben out. But yeah, I think that like, I think Tiffany was probably indifferent about the situation.
Right.
And so Kenzie was probably like, yeah, I feel much better about Ben. Because, like, she's probably thinking, like, if this Yanu thing breaks up, like, if the tribal lines break up, like, Ben might be, like, my guy. Like,
Ben's a number for me.
yeah, like, me and Ben might be a twosome at that point. Like, 'cause if you take tribal lines out of it, it's kind of like Q and Tiffany. I mean, she's with Tiffany, and it seems like at this point she's probably more with Tiffany than Tiffany's with Q.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you know, like take the Siga out of it. Like Ben, the only Sigas left are Charlie,
Ben.
Maria, and Ben.
Right.
Charlie and Maria are a twosome.
Right.
And I guess Ben is pretty close with Charlie.
Yeah.
We've seen that. So I could see like this kind of shaping up to be like Tevin, Hunter, Venus, and
Liz
against let's say Q gets voted out next episode. So it's those four from Nami versus Ben, Charlie, Maria, Kenzie, and Tiffany. Like, I could see that easily.
That's interesting. When I was like picturing it, I was thinking, it's a 4-3-3 tribe dynamic right now, but it's really a 3-3-3 tribe dynamic and Venus. Because like Hunter and Tevin are cool with Liz. Liz didn't even bring herself to tribal, was not mentioned once as a possible anything, even though everyone else in her tribe that didn't have immunity was, and just didn't bring her stuff, and was just kind of vibing, and just because she has a really close relationship with Tevin and Hunter. Great. And then there's the 3 purple tribe, the Yanu tribe, and they're pretty tight, and I don't feel like they'd feel comfortable flipping on Q yet, because they still have only 3 people. And then there's the green tribe that has 3. So, like, it's a very weird dynamic, and because it's just like Venus is so random. Like, Venus should not be here. She aligned with one person in the game, and that person hated her until like the 6th day. Like, it's when she had that conversation with Maria, like Maria saying, "You come on too strong. I don't want to work with you." And then Venus is like, "I think it's her ego." No. Take the note.
A lot of that was in Maria's head.
So,
her saying that Venus came at her, and then it's not like we didn't see it. Like, she quoted the thing that Venus said, but she was like, "You were coming at me strong," and Venus was just like, "So I don't think you're going to vote with me?" Because Maria acted so freaking sus about it. Like, if someone comes to you and says, "Do you want to do this plan?" the absolute least that you should respond is, "I love that. Let's get some more people on board." That's the least you should say. You should probably just say yes. And Maria is out here, "I don't know, wow.
So I don't agree with that. I think Venus is very power hungry and wants to have power in this game, and she simply does not have that power. And she
does.
Yes, but she's wrong. Like, she's getting greedy. In that moment, Maria's the one that has immunity, right? Tevin talked to Maria before that. It was like, let's blindside Soda or Venus or whatever. Like, why would Maria risk saying, like, "Hey, yeah, like, let's bring in Charlie, let's bring in these people," because then what if she turns around and tells Tevin, which is something that we've seen on Survivor a number of times, where someone that is scrambling, where someone wants to make a move, will go have a conversation with someone and then say, "Oh, since they said they're open to that idea, they want you out, actually." Like, I don't think that makes a whole, like, I don't think it 100% of the time makes sense. And I think Maria felt safe. I think she felt safe for Charlie. There's no reason that she would want to work with Venus. Nobody wants to work with Venus, like, at all.
I think the reason that Maria definitely should have said yeah is because Venus wasn't thinking well enough to put this together. But, like, let's say Venus was playing really well. Like, if she says, "I don't know," like, she should be worried about Charlie, right? Maria should be worried about Charlie. Saying "I don't know" in that situation when you've been presented for a vote that's not Charlie is sus.
Yeah.
Like that's a very suspect thing to do. And so, like, I think that Maria definitely should have said, the whole Venus thing is like a completely different conversation. She 100% at Tribal acted as if this was her move. That she rallied everyone to vote Soda out.
Yeah.
Which couldn't be true because, number one, Maria told her to her face, I'm not really feeling that.
With Tevin, with the move that she threw out there.
Yeah. I mean, Venus is a mystery to me, man. So literally after the episode, she tweeted, oops, ... and I would do it again. With the fingernail painting emoji.
Oh my gosh.
Like she still thinks that this was her move? Just because you got lucky and everyone blindsided the person that you said doesn't make it your move.
Yeah. And which time did you say it? Like, which one are you want to take credit for? You know? Like, also, the real person that played that tribe very well was Tevin. Tevin got Soda out, which is what he planned. He sowed, like, seeds of getting Venus out to Soda, which would be, like, move B already, and then just pulled Liz in and the people on the bottom for move C. And then didn't write Soda's name down. And she's on the jury.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, and like Soda is like, that's my dude. I mean, to me, in my mind, Soda might be the kind of juror though that's like, I want to vote for the person that voted me out because that's good strategy. She seems like that kind of new era juror to me. But like, yeah, great play by Tevin. At least it like lowers his threat level, and like he's in a position where he needs to manage his threat level. Like I don't need to be seen as the person that's like domineering votes right now. I want to be still in the game at 7, at 6, at 5. I need to be like getting seen as a threat at 5, not a threat at 12 or how many people were left tonight. And so it was really smart of him to like let Venus claim responsibility for tonight's vote. Like, you could even see him, like, when Venus was, like, dapping up Soda afterwards, like, oh, I got you, blah, 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 blah. They panned to Tevin, and he was mouthing the word no.
Yeah.
He was shaking his head and mouthing the word no. But he was like, he wants the viewers at home to know that was me.
Right.
And we know it was him because we saw him say it before he did it. We saw him make all the things happen. Talk to all the people that ended up voting for Soda. But yeah, why not? Why not let Venus like think that she's running the game? You keep your threat level managed. Yeah, keep it rolling. I thought it was well played by Tevin.
Yeah. Yeah. This has been a great merge to me after a really like pretty brutal pre-merge game. And I kind of love where we are right now because there are like many alliances in the tribes that existed previously, but they're also like meshing, you know, like Hunter is clearly meshing with Q, you know, like he's someone that Q and Tiff can trust, and Tevin is integrating pretty well with kind of everybody right now. There's not a single person on that beach that hates him outside of Venus, and who cares about what Venus thinks because nobody does. And like I kind of love that there are previous alliances still in the game, but there is also like things happening where it's not just a mowdown. And I'm very curious to see how this shakes out. I could see a number of winners coming from this 10. Well, 9. You know?
Yeah, it definitely seems to me like it is Tevin, Hunter, Q, and Liz are a group. And it seems to me like Kenzie and Tiffany are really who's in the middle.
Right.
And then there's everybody else, Charlie, Maria, Ben, on the other side. And so, like, I can see it as like a 3-2-4-1 type situation.
Yeah.
Which those numbers can go a lot of different ways.
Right.
Those numbers can go a lot of different ways. They won't go to rocks, but they could go a lot of different ways. And so I'm interested to see like how this is going to go down the stretch. And like you said, I could see a lot of different people winning. I couldn't see Liz winning. I couldn't see Venus winning.
Yeah. Liz and Venus. I think those are the only two, though. Like, I could see Kenzie, Tiffany, and Q winning still. I could see Tevin and Hunter winning. I could see Charlie and Maria winning. I could see Ben winning. You know?
Yeah. I think I could see Maria winning, but not very clearly. I could also see Tiffany winning, but her edit's been a little bit light.
For someone that has been in all the conversations, yeah, her edit has been light. Yeah. You know, like we saw more Q and Kenzie than Tiff pre-merge.
Yeah.
But Tiffany has had the power and she's been extremely stable, which is maybe why we've seen less of her.
Yeah. My likelihood of winning rankings is probably Charlie, Tevin, Hunter, Kenzie, Tiffany, Q, Venus, Liz, or put Ben ahead of Venus and Liz.
Okay.
I think that's everybody.
Yeah. I would probably go Hunter, Charlie, Tiff, Kenzie, Maria. Oh, Tevin. Tevin put Tevin like third. And then like whoever I haven't said, and then Ben, Liz, Venus. That would be my order. I just think Hunter is playing a very good game for someone that is just an absolute force in challenges.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, both groups had an opportunity to get a threatening player out of the game tonight easily, and they didn't take it. Like, Hunter, he's a threat to win this whole thing. Charlie is a threat to win this whole thing.
Tevin.
And Tevin also. And both tribes just, like, didn't even really go down that route, really.
Right. And I think Soda may have been, like, I think they saw Soda as like someone that can actually be a social threat and have some strategy. So like I think in their mind Soda could have won.
Yeah. Soda is definitely like knows how Survivor works. Like
yes.
Really into the culture of Survivor and the gameplay. She's probably done a lot of those like online like Survivor style games, or like even some in-person ones where it's like going around and doing the scrambling and like that type of thing. So like she seems like the type of person who you wouldn't want around.
Right.
Like I want to be the person that's going around and doing that. I don't want there to be someone else doing it about me.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see the next week on Survivor?
Yes, I did.
Hunter is in a tree.
Yes.
Excited
Spy
for that.
Shack.
Spy
Nest.
Yeah, Spy Nest. He wasn't hidden that great. So, I don't know. I was like, that's clearly like a man up there. Like his leg is hanging down. But, you know, which is kind of crazy. We'll see if he pulls that off. And then Jeff said, "We've never seen anything like this at Tribal Council. This is the first." And
Soda did this.
Yeah. So we'll see if any of that means anything at all. But
did somebody pass out?
That'd be kind of crazy.
Why hasn't that happened before?
Yeah,
Like
I mean, I guess
tribal's like a stressful thing.
right, and they sit there for hours.
People have passed out at camp. Why hasn't anyone passed out at tribal before?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
So last week, you said you wanted to share the Survivor player that you think you would most be like out there.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
I'll go first. I shared this with you off pod.
Yeah.
I think Nick Wilson is probably my, political views aside, political endeavors aside, just talking about Survivor, I would probably say Nick Wilson. Just kind of a guy who's like very smartly put together who would beat me at the end of this game and got them out before he got to the end because he wasn't that threatening. Like, I'm not that threatening either. But I am like what Tony referred to Nick and others as on Winners at War, a hyena. I'm not a lion, I'm a hyena.
Yeah. I admire his ability to be in every conversation. Like, he is a fly on the wall in everything. And people think they can just bring him in, and he just doesn't feel like he's gonna hurt you in any way. And I think that's a cool person to want to be like in the game. In the game. Yeah, that's good. My person, I would like to think that if I went on Survivor, I would play a game like David from Millennials vs. Gen X and Edge of Extinction. I think David would come across as a nice guy that's definitely like not a physical threat at all in the game, but very smart, and you want to be on his side, but he also doesn't come across as super threatening socially or strategically. He kind of is just there. He gets along with everybody. He doesn't really get mad, but I think that he had a great social game, and I admire that a lot. And he was able to like team up with people that were very strong and able to ride them, but also like navigate his own game, so much so that he was being voted out in Millennials vs. Gen X at the end, because if he got to the end, he would have won. And I think that was very astute. You see him like team up with people from that don't seem like him that much. Like in the first time you saw him team up with Adam from the Millennial tribe, and then Adam cut him. And then you see him team up with Rick Devens in Edge of Extinction. And he just has a very, very well balanced social game. And I appreciate that. So I don't know. Any thoughts on David?
Yeah, David's an interesting character to me. I can see why he made it far, and I think he's the kind of guy you're like not threatened by him until Jeff keeps calling on him at Tribal, and he keeps saying eloquent things, and you're like, okay, we got to get this guy out of here.
Exactly.
Like he's gonna say he's probably memorized a monologue before he came out here that he wrote that he's gonna reveal at final Tribal. We got to get this guy out of here.
Yeah. I think he's an underrated Survivor player. Like I really admire his game a lot. I think if I really hadn't, I don't think I'd seen Millennials vs. Gen X before I saw Edge of Extinction, and then going back and watching it after, I was like, wow, David really had like a glow up during Millennials vs. Gen X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, I don't think he's underrated personally. Like, he's a terrible person to have on your tribe. Like he's not helpful.
Sure.
Like, at all.
Sure.
In a challenge, which is like an important part of pre-merge.
Right.
Especially if you're playing New Era.
But that's like baked in, right? I show up on the island. They're not going to put me, hopefully, on Yanu tribe. They're going to put me with Hunter on Nami tribe.
You just got to hope that there's somebody on your tribe acting a fool. Like,
yes.
If you're not a challenge threat, like, you just got to hope somebody's going to do something really stupid.
Yeah.
That's how Saria's always made it really far. Because she's terrible at challenges, but somebody's always acting a fool, and she always exploits it to get further in the game.
Yes. Yeah. Reading others to make your choices. I think it's huge.
All right, Joel. Do you know what week it is?
It's Masters Week.
It's Masters Week, baby.
Yeah.
Who do you got winning the Masters?
I don't even know. Are the LIV people allowed to play the Masters?
Yes.
Okay.
They played last year, too.
Did John Rahm win last year? Is that who won?
Yes, John Rahm won last year.
Okay. And Tiger's not playing?
Tiger's playing.
Tiger's playing? Is there any shot he wins?
Basically, no.
Okay.
Not really.
I'll pick Tiger Woods.
Okay. Like Tiger, I don't think he's ever missed a cut at the Masters, so he's trying to keep that streak going.
Gotcha.
Like last year, he was limping on Friday and still made the cut. And then he withdrew on Saturday, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. Who do you think?
I mean, the pick right now, the odds-on favorite by far is Scotty Scheffler.
Right.
The dude is on fire. He won back-to-back events already this year. So you've got to have him in the mix. Other guys who have been hot recently, Wyndham Clark, he's been really good. Sam Burns, he's my dark horse pick. He's had 4 top 10 finishes already this season. And I bet $5. It was a free bet. I normally bet $5, but I bet $5 that Sam Burns would be in first place after Thursday's round. If that hits, I get $250. So
wow.
Be rooting for Sam Burns. I think if I hit that, my plan is to take it out and invest it in something. So
wow.
That's my dark horse pick is Sam Burns. But at Augusta, it's always the same guys. Like Joaquin Niemann, he's always on the leaderboard at Augusta.
Right.
Like, why?
Yeah.
We don't know. So you got to think Scheffler, Rahm, Koepka had a great showing last year. He hasn't been at the top of his game this year, but he always balls out for majors.
Yeah.
You've got to think Rory, but Rory,
I've heard he's pretty
betting money
big
on Rory
lately.
is throwing money away.
Yeah. Is Will Zalatoris competing?
Yes.
This week?
Will Zalatoris is competing.
That's my pick. I like that guy. His short game is amazing. So yeah, I'm going for him.
No, his ball
his
striking is amazing.
Oh.
His putting has gotten way better this year because he switched to a long putter.
Yeah.
So he's got one of the long putters now, and his putting stroke has gotten way simplified. And it's basically math now that he's using the long putter, and it's less like finesse and touch, which he always didn't have around the greens. So
it's geometry, because the more contact points you have with the putter, the less variables there are.
That's true, but it's illegal to anchor the club against your chest now.
Oh, okay. So he just uses his 2 hands. So he uses
So
one
he's still
up.
got his 2 hands, but it's just a simpler motion.
Right.
It's harder to wiggle the putter around in your backswing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
It's the Masters, baby.
So go Sam Burns, and then I'll maybe put $1 on Will Zalatoris just for fun.
I've got money on Scheffler to win the whole thing. Not much, but then I've got I think some other guys are going to get top 10, but I spread it around.
Yeah. Well, cool. You got anything else?
I don't think so, man. Who do you think's going to win Survivor? My pick is the same as from the beginning of the season. Charlie.
I want Kenzie to win. I want Kenzie to win so bad. I love Kenzie so much.
Kenzie had a great night. Kenzie really grew on me tonight.
She's had a great season. I really hope she wins. All right. That is it. I'm Joel. That's Michael. The Clingers have spoken. We'll see you next week.
See y'all. Peace. Episode several.